This is Irene Woods. In this video we're going to work on Fairisle Method 4 for basic knitting machines. And just like we've been doing in the previous videos, I want to show you a few additional tricks and tips before we actually begin knitting. We have covered using your fingers to select the pattern. We have used the old Studio LS6, LS9 needle selector, and as we talked about in the earlier videos, Chris Crafter has come out with a new needle beetle, which is an updated and improved version of that. We have also used the magic needle selector wand, and today I want to show you one more thing that maybe you haven't thought about and maybe you have. Your machine comes packed with needle selectors. And that's what these are. This is a 1x2 needle selector, and that's the one we use the most often. This one is 1x3 on this side and 3x1 on this side, and we would use it a lot for tuck stitch. So what I did years ago was buy an extra set of needle selectors, and I cut out some of the prongs. This one originally was the 1x2, and I'm not sure you can see this, but I cut out a prong here and a prong here, and what that left me with was a 1x5 selector. See that? And then I also cut out some prongs on this one, and I think you can see the little cutout marks a bit more on this one. I didn't file them down. Anyway, this one then becomes a 1x7. Now I did this many years before the magic needle selector wand was available. Today I would probably use that needle selector wand. But these studio needle selectors are very easy to come by, and they're not expensive. So if you want to try doing what I did, that will give you another option. And what we're going to do in this video is going to use 1s and 3s. And if you'll remember from the previous video where I used the magic wand, it wasn't really the best situation to just flip that wand over and use the 1x3 on the 3 side. This one is actually made to do it. So if I were working on a tuck stitch that was a 1x3, or any pattern that was a 1x3 or a 3x1, I always grab these. Okay, what we're going to do now is set up and knit this pattern. I can get it turned up without dropping it. This is a very common zigzag pattern, and I did drop a couple, so give me just a minute. We'll put them back on. It's very effective used by itself. It's also very effective in rows of zigzag. You might find on a child's sweater just 1 or 2 repeats of this is all you need. Just a little bit of trim sometimes is plenty. We're now going to knit row 1 on the chart. And to set up, I need to have both levers on the left side of the carriage in the backwards position, and both levers on the right side of the carriage in the forward position. Red thread, which is the main color, in the carriage. Now, from looking at the chart, I know that I need to have needle number 1 to the right of center 0 pulled forward, and I'm using the 3x1 needle pusher. Knit 1 row. Remove the red, thread up with white. Pull back the slack. Make sure all your needles are in line, because if they're not, they'll get tangled up in the carriage. And knit one row. Check to be sure everything knitted. On the next row, I need to bring the red needles out on row 2. And looking at the chart, I see that the red is on needle number 3 to the right of 0. And there is only one red stitch. Okay, I have a stitch here that didn't get hooked where it needed to be. Now let's see, where are we? This one. That should be a red stitch, not a white stitch. And it apparently was both. Okay. Knit one row with contrast. And then take that out of the carriage. Rethread with red. Knit one row. Now we're ready to do row 3. And from the chart, I see that I need needles 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And we need red in the carriage. And knit one row. Remove the red. Thread up with white. Pull back the slack. And knit one row. This time we need to bring the red needles forward. So we need a group of 3 right at center 0. Leave the white in the carriage. And one row. Remove the white. Thread up with red. Pull back the slack. Check for any drop stitches or misknitted ones. And then knit one row. Reset the carriage for stockinette. Front levers need to be forward. Back levers need to be back on both sides of the carriage. this is our pattern.